What's up guys, Miticus here. I'm your coach for the Boston Beedrills. Welcome to week 3 of the APA. And today we go against one of the tougher opponents that we have on our schedule. And that is going to be none other than PokeaimMD and his New York Dreepys. Now before we start, things got a little bit weird during this match. And I'm actually having to do a little bit of post commentary because when I went back to edit the video, the sound was just not clicking. So unfortunately, we're going to go this route this week. And you'll notice that I put the video that we're kind of capturing at double speed. That way we can kind of get through this a little bit quickly. And you can kind of just see what happens. At this point, I'm having to upload late just because I wasn't expecting to have to re-record this. And so that was unfortunate, but that's just how things happen sometimes. So yeah, you've already watched PokeAim's side at this point, I am sure. But let's go ahead and take a look at how things went on our side. And let's go ahead and fast forward a little bit to this part. Alright, so there's the matchup. We brought the Vaporeon, G-Max, Machamp, Excadrill, Mandibuzz, Clefable, and Dragapult. Rocky Helmet on the Vaporeon for the Melmetal. And I think that was really it. Because, I mean, it could have been a physical Grimmsnarl, and Rocky Helmet would have hurt him too, but it's really there for the Melmetal. G-Max Machamp just really did a lot of work in this match, I felt like, in the matchup. Excadrill with the... what did I have on him? The Expert Belt. So the Expert Belt I thought was pretty decent. And anyway, Mandibuzz with leftovers, Clefable with leftovers, and Dragapult with a Power Herb. And we'll kind of go into that a little bit later on in the video. As you can see on his side, he has the Rillaboom, the Galarian Weezing, Vanillix, which proves to be a very, very intimidating and huge threat to our team. Melmetal, which obviously is a threat in itself, and the Grimmsnarl, and the Gastrodon, sorry, which is very, very bulky and pretty hard for our team to take on. Anyway, so let's move a little bit further. Okay, cool. So here we go. Joey is going to lead off with his Galarian Weezing, and we're going to go into our Machamp. So my hope here was for him not to go into Weezing. Anything but Weezing I would have been happy with. Even the Gastrodon. Even the Gastrodon I would have been completely happy with. Sorry, my dog. But he went ahead and led his Weezing, so that was really unfortunate. And we had to pretty much switch out instantly, allowing him to what I felt would be a Toxic Spike, because he knows he knows I had to switch out. Cannot talk today. So let's see what happens. Look at me looking all snazzy with my orange and my blue. By the way, quick little shout out to the Beehive, my front office team. Thank you for y'all's help week in and week out. Panther 2 helped me a lot with this team right here. Getting the EVs separated and divvied out appropriately, and kind of getting some neat little sets worked up. So we are going to go ahead and switch into our Vaporeon. He goes for the Will-O-Wisp. He missed. Not a big deal. I mean, it definitely would have helped get some residual damage on our Vaporeon, but really not the biggest thing, because honestly I would much rather be burned on Vaporeon than a Toxic, which was what I was fearing that either his Weezing would do eventually with Toxic Spikes, or his Gastrodon would do. So we're going to go ahead, I believe we're going to Scald here. He gets Spikes up, which, you know, it's not the greatest thing. We do a lot of damage there, though. He does reheal a little bit with Black Sludge, and that's fine. But we still do, I mean, probably 30% to him. Probably right there at 30-35%. And we're going to go ahead and switch into our Excadrill as he switches out as well and goes into his Rillaboom. Not the switch that I was hoping for, I'm going to be honest. Because that's going to force me right back out, because I need some damage on this thing before I can hit it with X Scissor, even with the Expert Belt. So I got a dedicated switch into this thing with our Mandibuzz, so that's going to be fine. Knockoff, it's not going to do a ton. It does knock off our leftovers, which makes us just a little less viable throughout the match, and a little bit more difficult to stay healthy. But we're going to go ahead and defog and get rid of those spikes, because I really don't want my team whittled down at all. Yeah, I think I just noticed something actually. The team... Go! The team on my side, I don't think this is the right team, so I apologize for that, because I don't think I brought Blossom to this match. So there's that. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and U-turn out. I'm pretty positive, because I'm expecting him to switch. But we look to be faster than the Weezing, which is fine, and we're gonna go back into our Vaporeon. Unless this is the play where we go into our Excadrill again, which I hope it isn't. It is, isn't it? Yeah, we go back into our Excadrill here because we go into Vaporeon. Okay, so we go into Vaporeon here, and we expect another Toxic Spike, which is fine. And at this point, if I can get a Scald off, that would be absolutely perfect. That would be very, very good news for us. And getting this Weezing whittled down to a very, very low amount of health. But he does go ahead and switch back into his Biscuit, which is his Rillaboom. And we're hoping here to get the burn. The burn would have been huge for us, but as it turns out, he was actually the Lumberry. So if we got a burn there, yes, we get to pop his Lumberry early, which gives us a chance to maybe burn it later on the switch in. But it ends up that we don't get the burn regardless, so that's fine. And we're going to have to switch out here. And our dedicated switch in is always going to be Mandibuzz to this thing. As we do go ahead and switch into the Mandibuzz. And he's going to go ahead and U-turn, which does a decent little chunk. So we got to make sure that we're gauging our health, appropriately coming in on this thing. And every time he can go out into his Vanillix and really put us in a position where we have to either sack something or take an extraordinary amount of damage. At this point, I feel like Clefable is my best choice, because I feel like the Vaporeon is too easy of a prediction, and I'm afraid that he will go for the Freeze Dry. So I do go ahead and go into the Clefable. And he does a tremendous amount of health to us. But with the grassy terrain and the leftovers, we are able to recover a decent amount of health. And so I'm going to pause it right here. I had an option to go ahead and flamethrower. No, actually, I'm sorry. This is where it was a no-brainer. We had a flamethrower. He has a citrus berry, which I thought was interesting at the time, but it turned out that he just forgot his item. He actually meant to be Never Melt Ice to power up his ice moves, but he didn't have that in his bag, so he had to just toss something on before he entered the battle. But there's a point in the match where I want to go for aromatherapy. But this obviously isn't the case, because I don't think at this point anything has any statuses. So the Moonblast is going to do a decent chunk of damage, and we actually lower its special attack. And plus the health, it's going to put it below 50%. But it does get the Black Sludge, which is going to put him right above the 50% mark. And we have a choice here. We can actually stay in and do some more damage with the Moonblast. Or we can switch out. And unfortunately, if we do switch out, he's going to continually get some health back via the Black Sludge and the grassy terrain if it's out there as well, which I think it is. We're going to go ahead and switch into our Excadrill here, which I thought was an appropriate play, but he read me like there was no tomorrow and did land a Will-O-Wisp on us, which was really, really unfortunate. Because now our Excadrill is pretty much useless, and now his Weezing is going to just regain health. We do have a Poison Clefable and a Burnt Excadrill now, which is, you know, why I was talking about the aromatherapy with the Clefable, to get rid of that burn. Goes back into his Rillaboom. We're probably just going to Roost here, I think. That's what we do. We Roost. Now the U-turn, of course, because we just got rid of our Flying type, is going to do a lot more damage than what it did before. Probably about 30% compared to probably 20% is what it did before. He goes back into Vanillix, and again, every time this thing comes in, it is an absolute issue. It's going to eventually just start claiming kills if I don't start playing around it better. So here I go into the Vaporeon, hoping that we just see Blizzard from this thing and maybe a Scarf. Honestly, at this point, with a Vaporeon, Scarf, Vanillix is a little bit easier to deal with. Actually, at this point, I should have realized that the Citrus Berry popped. So, don't know if I actually realized that, because I'm really bad at keeping track of stuff like that. But I should have known he wasn't Scarf, and that he probably did have the Freeze Dry for the Vaporeon. And actually, I think I did realize that. So, now we have a few options here. We can go for Scald, we can go for Toxic, and we're going to go for a Wish. He does taunt us, so we're not able to get the Wish off, unfortunately. And at this point, do we switch? I think we fear the Freeze Dry here, so I think we switch into Clefable. Yeah. And honestly, like, hindsight's 20/20, but I definitely wish I would have preserved my Clefable a lot better. I think I could have put in some work for me in late game. Yeah, so I was fearing the Freeze Dry. That's just me being super nervous and super conservative to a point where it really hindered me. Got the Vaporeon back out there now. Blizzard plus Freeze Dry is probably going to kill me, because that does a lot of damage. Even like a non-boosted Blizzard does a lot of damage. So we do lose Vaporeon, which makes it a very, very tough spot for us with the Melmetal. Very, very dangerous. We do get to send out our Machamp here. And since he is poisoned, we are getting the Guts boost. So my thought is, we'll just Facade. Anything that comes in besides Melmetal, it's going to take a tremendous amount of damage. Sends out the Weezing. Unfortunately, the neutralizing gas does get rid of our Guts. We still do a lot of damage to this thing, and at this point I'm thinking I'm probably faster than Weezing. So I think there's nothing to lose. Just G-Maxing and going for the G-Max still, which is what we do. Machamp looking big. He is faster. He does about 50% to us with his Fairy move, but we do take out the Galarian Weezing and we get a defense boost to go with it. The poison is going to make us where we cannot really take a lot more, too many more hits. And this thing is, I probably should have just stayed in, to be honest, and just sacked this thing off and came back in with, I don't know. I guess at this point, I guess the best thing would have been to sack this thing off and go into our Mandibuzz. But as it turns out, going into Mandibuzz was actually the right play. And obviously, I debated on it for a little bit because I was kind of really stuck. And as you can see, my time is also starting to dwindle down. So that's kind of unfortunate as well. He does go ahead and G-Max his Grimmsnarl. And so in my mind, I'm like, crap, Mandibuzz is absolutely toast. He's dead. There's no way Mandibuzz is going to live a max Starfall. But he in fact does, and he actually lives it fairly healthily. Healthily? Healthily? I don't know. Anyway, and then I'm thinking, well, I got to sack Mandibuzz here, but if something crazy happens, I'll go ahead and Roost. Turns out, I'm actually faster than the Grimsnarl, which I may have figured out. Honestly, I don't have any calcs in front of me, so I'm just kind of going off memory. So I can actually roost this thing down, or not down, but I can roost his G-Max away, but Joey actually decides to go ahead and withdraw, and then go into this guy, which is an issue all in itself. Because again, this thing does claim a kill every time it comes in, especially now that Vaporeon is gone. We actually live on 6. We do a U-turn, which does really nothing. And we are going to go into our, honestly, probably maybe should have went into Machamp, depending on what the calcs say. But I'm pretty sure the calcs actually said that we died to a blizzard, especially with a, like a modest blizzard, I believe. And at this point, I'm not even looking at the speeds or anything, or remembering the speeds anyway. So I don't know if he's jolly or if he's adamant. Or not jolly, but timid. Timid and modest. Good lord. Come on, get it together. So he does knock out our Clefable there. Is that what he just did? I was not paying attention. And we go into our Dragozoid, and I think, okay, well, we will just try to kill this thing. Oh, I know why. I think I was just trying to get some damage to come back in and flamethrower it, because that would have actually killed him, and I don't think a straight up flamethrower would have. No, he outsped me that time. Interesting. Very interesting. What would that? I guess we're... Did we speed tie? I don't know. Anyway, Solar Beam, because I'm running out of time. I'm going to be honest with you. I ran out of time in this game. I thought too much. I didn't just go with it. I didn't just try to wing it. I ran out of time. Sucks. Sucks. I was very upset. So yeah, that is how the game ended. It was a 4-0, I think. I took out Weezing, I took out Grimsnarl, and that's it, right? Yeah. So, unfortunate for the second week in a row, we did time out. But I don't know why I'm saying but. There was no but. I should have paid more attention to the time and made my moves quicker. I did calc less in this battle, I feel like, than I did previously. I mean, I think I only calced once or twice, but I definitely did think too much about my switches and my moves, and I'm learning through the pain that you have to really just click. You got to know what you're going to do before you do it. And I talked to Joey PokeaimMD afterwards, and he was like, yeah man, you gotta be thinking about your next play while the current play is going on. You know, during the animations is when you have to do your calcs, if you're going to calc. During the animations, you have to be thinking of like, okay, in this scenario, I'm going to do A, and then in this scenario, I'm going to do B. And I wasn't doing that. I was just letting whatever was happening transpire. And honestly, that's really what kicked my butt at the end. Don't get me wrong, I would have lost this match, but I think I could have picked up at least one more kill, made it a 3-0. Because really, Excadrill couldn't have done anything, but maybe Machamp could have came in and picked up a kill, is what I'm thinking. So yeah, guys, I will see you next week when we go against one of the other commissioners of the APA, and that is going to be Panther 2. And that is going to be on my birthday, so that's exciting. All right, guys, I'll see you then. Peace.